guys, and welcome back to another episode of Brewluminati, the podcast where we drink beer and talk about conspiracy theories. My name is John.
This is Jake.
And welcome back. I don't know what to say now. I don't know.
Well, let's just talk about some beer.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll talk about it because I brought this one to us.
It came out of your fridge.
It did come out of my fridge. So this beer, it's interesting. So
It is.
It is supposed to be, before I tell you what it is, it's supposed to be a cranberry sour goza with edible glitter.
To help spread the holiday cheer.
That's right. Even though there's basically a 0% chance any of you are going to be listening to this episode during the holidays.
It was gained during the holidays. So.
It was procured during holiday times. But yeah, basically what we are drinking today is we are drinking the Bond Brothers Beer Company Cranberry Cheer Sorcery. So
Correct, yeah. Bond
Cranberry-
Brothers is a Cary, North Carolina institution. Pretty well known.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who love Bond Brothers. Like,
Yeah.
they're constantly being like, I'm going out to Bond Brothers to sit on the patio. Their beer is so great. I love it. And
There's a whole vibe there. There's a definite vibe there.
I do not vibe there.
No? You don't like the patio?
No, I don't.
You got to like the patio. That's what it's all about.
I like, there's another brewery it's not near there. It's kind of near there. Fortnite.
Oh, well, yeah.
I like Fortnite.
Different vibe, better vibe. I like that a little bit.
I like the Fortnite vibe way better.
I liked the inside pre-COVID. That was kind of like the
I agree.
grandma's British basement. You kind of hang out there. There's a fire.
Well, it has this like very Irish soccer pub kind of feel to it, where it's all
100%.
like dark, stained walnut with the wood tables with the big benches, and they have football jerseys, European football jerseys everywhere. They're like like one of those like hometown bars for Arsenal or something.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So-
They actually are exactly that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of people there in Arsenal shirts. So
Yeah, that brewery is really cool. They make a bunch of beers that are really
They
good,
do.
and they brew kombucha there too.
They do. Their kombucha is pretty great. You can get the kombucha at all the stores.
I can't remember the name of the kombucha that they make there. It's like Tri-City kombucha or something. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
They have a couple. They have one that's made with rosemary and sage. That's pretty amazing.
yeah.
It tastes like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. There's a really good kombucha place in Asheville, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now, but they have this one that's like a blueberry and like rhubarb root or something one, and oh man, it's
I'm into
sick.
rhubarb.
It's super good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Bond Brothers, different than Fortnite. Totally different vibe.
Very different.
There's a very like chill patio vibe.
They do like yoga in one of those front rooms.
They do. They're really well known for their Tuesday night run clubs.
Yeah.
That is huge. My wife used to run that. She ran it enough until she got the shirt and then stopped.
That's funny. I know Big Boss does a run club too.
Yeah.
Which
and Fortnite does too. Fortnite has a run club.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, there's a part of me that's like confused by brewery run clubs, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, so go exercise and sweat all of your electrolytes and, water out of you, and then get fucked up.
At some of them, you get a free beer. At some of them, you get like a reduced price beer. Like there's some perks going on.
Yeah.
The free running jersey is a big thing.
Free running jersey?
Yeah, it's like a tank top, but it's made out of like moisture wicking technology.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get that after you run enough times or something?
So my wife, I think she had to run like 10 runs. You come, you check in, you run 10 times. And, they expect that when you come and run, you're going to come back and drink 2 or 3 beers afterwards. So
yeah, because you want to get hammered.
yeah, exactly. So say you drink 2 beers, that's 6 bucks each, that's $12. You're going to drop $120 over your 10 run time being there.
To get a $4 jersey.
Yeah, exactly. So that they probably like slow boat over from China and drop ship for nothing,
Yeah, no, that's probably 100% true. The closest that I could get to like relating to run club at the brewery would be beer league and hockey.
Oh, yeah.
And that's awesome. Like,
I'm a fan of there's a couple bike clubs. Cotton House Brewery has a bike club that goes
I feel
for
like
long
that's
rides.
dangerous.
Probably.
Biking and then getting drunk. And then, because like, I wonder how many people like ride their bike home. Like they ride their bike for the bike riding thing and then they get smashed at the brewery.
All of them.
Because after
Every
you're
single one
all
of
like
them.
sweated out after exercising, it takes like 2 beers and you're destroyed.
Oh yeah, and all of them ride them. There's nobody putting a bike on a back of a car out in front of this brewery. I've never seen that happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be, I mean, I used to live in downtown Raleigh when I was a young hipster dude. And part of my thing was that I would ride my bike downtown. And at the time I was a bartender. So, I mean, I knew all the other bartenders at the other bars. And so like, I would just ride my bike right in the bar. Cause like sometimes when it was nice out, they would leave the, front door to the bar open and I would just like ride my bike right in the bar and I would just like stop in front of the bar, like still on my bike. And I'd like turn my head and I'd look at them. I'd be like, you know what I want. And they'd be like, PBR me. And then I would just like, drink a beer or two at that bar, ride to my next friend's bar, drink a beer or two there, ride to the next bar, drink a couple beers. And I would just do that all night. And then by the time I was done, I was like 10 beers deep. And then I was like, yeah, it's only 4 miles home. It'll be fine. And not really. It was probably more like 2, but I would ride my bike home just smashed.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'm surprised I never got hit by a car or fell off my bike or anything.
I remember when I was in college, I used to go to this place I went to college at Florida Atlantic University and there was a bar nearby called Surf Cafe. Rest in peace. And
sad.
They used to do way back in the day. I mean, this is like 1999 or something. They used to have 50-cent pitcher nights.
Oh, nice.
Just garbage beer. I don't even know what it was. It was probably Miller Lite or something. And you would just get 2 of them at once and like kill these pitchers. And I remember we rode our bikes there from my friend's apartment. And it wasn't that far away. It was pretty close, but it was close enough where we were like, let's go ahead and walk these bikes back. Let's take this easy.
Yeah, there's this spot in Raleigh near State that my fraternity brothers and I used to go to all the time. It was called the Players Retreat. And I think we've talked about it before on the show, but one thing that's really cool about that bar is every year on their, like the bar's birthday, like anniversary day or whatever, they do this thing where all day Bud Heavy and hot dogs are the same price as they were when the bar opened.
Oh, when did it open?
Like the 50s.
Okay, so a nickel, 50 cents, something like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's nickel beers and like dime hot dogs.
Cool. There was one of the major league baseball stadiums does that. I want to say it's like Wrigley Field or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about that.
Yeah, but if you're ever in the area, find out when the PR's birthday is. I mean, it's great. That'd be cool. When it's not COVID,
sure.
The place gets absolutely packed. There's probably going to be tons of college kids out. I might even be out there, and I'll be drinking these little like solo cups of Bud Heavy and warm Bud Heavy, cold hot dogs, and it's like 15 cents for a beer and a hot dog, and then I just get like 5 or 6 hot dogs and like 50 Bud Heavies, and I would just
Dixie cups.
I'd be smashed off like $5. It was the best, and all of my fraternity brothers and I, we would just go and we'd all drop like $5 and be destroyed.
Amazing.
And yeah, I mean, that's not the only place that would do stuff like that. Like there was some other spots downtown, like these college style bars.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm too old now to know if this is still a thing. But if you're listening to this episode and this is still a thing wherever you are, find us on Instagram or shoot us a message or comment on something, let us know. But it would be penny pitchers. And so like you would go to a bar and it was like $5 to get in. But then once you were in, it was a penny for a pitcher of whatever beer they had, and it would be like Miller Lite or PBR or Bud Light or whatever. And they would just keep rotating through the shitty beer until they were out. But yeah, each person pays $5 to get in, and then you get a whole pitcher for a penny. But the catch with the ones here was that you had to actually have a penny.
Oh,
like
who has
it
pennies?
was, yeah, it wasn't like put another 1 cent on my tab.
Right.
No,
right.
it was like you had to have a physical penny.
And they put them all in an envelope behind the bar.
Yeah, I mean, they just had this giant pitcher.
Wow.
And you would go up to the bar and you'd
Were they doing it for like an art project or something? Like who needs pennies?
I mean, I don't know. This was like the trashiest bar. I hated this place. I only ever went when people were like, we're going to go to whatever this fucking place is and get penny pitchers to get fucked up. And I'm like, all right. I mean, who's got the pennies?
Right. It's probably harder to find pennies than it is to get to the bar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this bar doesn't exist anymore. Where it is, it's been like knocked down. There's like a CVS on top of it now or something like that. But no, it was pretty cool back in the day. But yeah, getting back to this beer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so Bond Brothers, I just am not a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, so when I first moved to Cary, it was the place everybody went to. So like whenever we would meet up with other parents and everybody wanted to go, they liked going there because it was kind of an enclosed space where you could let your kid run around a little bit.
Yeah.
In a bit of a respectful way, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's like that pizza shop right there. And there's like
the Little C's is right there.
Yeah. There's the, what's the other place that's there? The Pro Epicurean. There's like this Italian meat market kind of place where you can get like charcuterie boards and stuff.
Yeah. This is right down the street from Taipei.
Yes.
That place rules.
Yeah, it's right next to Taipei, and Pharmacy's right there.
Pharmacy's right there, yeah.
Pharmacy, which is a favorite.
I really like Ashworth.
Oh yeah, I've actually never been
Pharmacy,
in there.
which is across the street. That place is really cool because it's a pharmacy and a deli.
It's been there forever.
A million years.
When we first moved to Raleigh, we were walking around the different towns we'd want to move into. And we went there, and my wife was like, I went there when I was a little kid. And we checked,
oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, we checked with her parents, and they were like, she was like, yeah, we went there and had a hot dog or whatever. Because it was a deli.
Yeah, there's this really cool thing that my wife and I did a number of years ago. And I think we've told you guys about it. But where Bond Brothers is like right in downtown proper of downtown Cary, which is this little tiny like 2-block area. Yeah. It's nothing. It's one stoplight, literally. Yeah. But it's right next or within walking distance of the Amtrak station, like where the train yard is. And then of course, like right behind that on the other side from where downtown is the only strip club in Cary.
Is that what that is? I've driven by there.
Pure Gold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's on the downstairs
the name.
Yeah. No, it's a strip club. All the famous strippers come through there. Like, yeah. But anyway,
I didn't realize we had touring strippers stopping through.
Well, it's basically like the Gentleman's Club, or there's this other one, Capital Cabaret, which is up in like.
I didn't know there were famous touring strippers. I didn't know there was a thing.
Well, it's like porn stars and stuff. Will like travel through strip clubs and do like strip shows.
It's like bands doing live shows around the country.
It would be like bands doing live shows. It would be more like the drummer for Periphery, Matt Halpern, he does drum clinics when he's not touring with Periphery. Okay. This would be more like that because the porn stars aren't doing porn, which is their thing. They're doing like stripping stuff, which is like their way to make money on the side, but not the thing that they do.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. But they just travel around.
I bet they make bank doing that. They have to make bank.
Well, because they'll be like, I don't even know who like the famous porn stars right now, but it'd be like whoever that is coming through Pure Gold next Friday or whatever.
The only one I can think of is Stormy Daniels because of the whole Trump thing. That's the only one I can think of.
Isn't she like an old school?
Yeah, I think so. Or like Jenna Jameson. She's probably super old school too. Like,
yeah, I don't know. My
age is showing.
I don't even know who the new ones are, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's for like $15 a person or something. This would be a really cool date for you guys out there if you ever have like a free Saturday once COVID's over and you want to take your lady on a fun date. Take her into downtown Raleigh, into this area like right in downtown Raleigh proper called the Depot, and that is right next to where Raleigh's like Amtrak station is. And for like $15, you can get a ticket from Raleigh's Amtrak station to Cary's Amtrak station and back. Right. And so one time when my wife and I were living on that side of town, we did that and we got tickets and we literally like did the whole thing where you like go in the station, they take your card and they punch it and you go get on the train and you sit on it and ride through it. And there's all this really cool stuff that you can see from the train that you can't see from the road or you would never see otherwise.
Yeah.
And we just rode to the Amtrak station in Cary, got off, walked over to Ashworth, walked to Pharmacy, walked through all downtown Cary, and then a couple hours later, train picks you back up, you go home.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who've taken it to like Charlotte for shows and stuff.
Yeah, I'd considered doing that before I got a car.
Yeah.
And like before I had friends who would drive to Charlotte with me,
Yeah.
because I'm just like, I want to go down, I want to get blasted. Oh, and by the way, the Fillmore or whatever that venue is that's in Charlotte where all the metal bands go through is
Right.
within walking distance of the Charlotte
Yeah.
Amtrak station.
But it's probably a 4-hour ride to get out there or something.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 hours or 4 hours. Yeah, I think you're right. It's like 3.5 or 4 hours. It's a
Yeah.
long time, and it only takes 2 hours and
Yeah.
20 minutes or something to get to Charlotte. So
Fair. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely one of those novelty type things. It's fun. It was fun. I feel we keep getting away from this beer.
Yeah, but back to Bond Brothers. The way I think about them is they have a lot of like rotating, not very memorable IPAs that just kind of have random silly names. And, you know, some of them are good, some are bad, but they all kind of like mesh together.
yeah.
They have a stout I really like called Latte Variant, I think.
Okay.
And it's good. It's a very heavy stout. It's great.
Okay.
I've had one sour there that was decent, but you know, it's kind of a Crystal Light, kind of a Crystal Light taste.
Yeah, I feel like this is the cranberry version of that glass jug.
Oh yeah, the pie, sour pie.
Yeah, except this is cranberry and there's literally no glitter in it that I can see. And I even texted my friend who like got this for me and was like, this is supposed to be really cool. It has edible glitter in it. And I was so pumped for it. Like I was expecting it to be like swirling with swirly twirly edible glitter.
Yeah, like a hot chocolate bomb or something crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
nothing. There's
none,
not a single-
0%. There's 0% edible
no
glitter
glitter.
in this. I'm very disappointed. Like I feel like I would like this better if there was edible glitter, and there's no edible glitter, and I'm
I would
upset
definitely
now.
think a little higher of it. Yeah.
I have 2 more of these in my fridge, and I'm just like, what a letdown, because it's, and like,
I would bet money the ones in your fridge are actual like 16-ounce cans.
yeah, this is a crowler.
So
It's
I'm guessing
32
this-
ounces.
This probably got poured out from a different batch or something maybe.
Maybe. Well, my friend told me that hers didn't have any in it either. She was like, it's supposed to, but I didn't really see any. And like, there's nothing to me. This to me is very indicative of Bond Brothers beer. Do I dislike it? No. But do I like it? Also, no. It's very unmemorable. Like, does it taste like cranberry? Sure. But there's nothing making me want to come back to it. Like, I'm not like, I can't wait to break open the 2 in my fridge.
Right.
Instead, I'm sitting here thinking, man, I wish this was more like Tricycle Prince, which is what we drank last time. And I remember telling Jake,
the purple warhead.
exactly. I remember telling Jake after we were done with that, I was like, God, that was so hard to drink.
Yeah.
But now I'm sitting here, and a couple of times over the last couple of days, I've been like, you know what? There's a little part of me that wants the punishment of not knowing whether I liked that beer or not because it was punching me in the throat with sour again. Like, I don't know. Like, I liked how it confused me.
It was very confusing. I had a beer with a friend. It was a sour from the Funkatorium in Asheville, and it tasted very similar. It was like a blackberry sour. And I mentioned the Prince to him, and he was like, "Oh, the Warhead beer." Like he knew
that's
right
awesome.
away what that taste was. And then I mentioned the Fun Dip stick you get in between each taste, and he was like, "Yeah, I do remember. I do.
I know.
Think of that
I was like,
now.
it tastes
Yeah.
like the powder
that
that comes out. Yeah, yeah. and so yeah, like this beer to me, like it's just so meh. You know, like it's not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing memorable about it. Like it's not sweet, it's not sour, it's not heavy with cranberry. Like there's nothing identifying or memorable about it. The can is even really boring. There is no shit on this.
That's their
can.
general crowler can. They put everything in. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I want to say that the tall boy labels are more or
I think
less
they
the
look
same.
Yeah, I think they look exactly the same.
Like it's just a green label that says Bond Brothers, and then it has a clear sticker on it that has the name of the beer and the ABV.
Bond
Everything-
Brothers does an interesting thing where they're like, we're Cary hometown and we're North Carolina. And they even have those shirts where it has the picture of North Carolina. It says home,
Yeah.
right where Raleigh is.
Yeah.
And they do all that stuff. But it's like,
I'm wearing that same shirt, not the Bond
Oh, are you?
Brothers one, but you know, one of
The
those
home,
shirts
yeah.
with the state that says home
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, under my hoodie right now.
it's like they go a lot of way to talk about that. But like at the end of the day, they're not doing a lot for that. But I mean, for Cary, it is definitely like the meeting place brewery outside of Fortnite.
That's see, that's so confusing to me because I've been there so many times, and every time I literally try every beer they have on right now, or on at the time that I'm there. And it's they usually keep a fair number of beers on. It's like 10 or 12 or something. And I just feel like I'm slogging through this whole list of beers. And by the time I get to the bottom, like I start with the IPAs, I try the 2 or 3. I'm like, those are all right. All right, let me try the brown ale. Man, I didn't really like that. All right, let me get the whatever fucking
a lot
other
of the people
beer
that go there are like business dad. Like, I'm a business dad.
Business dad.
And I work in real estate. And I'm going to come have an IPA on Saturday, and I'm going to sit down and enjoy my beer. Like, and then they bring Wine Mom with them, and Wine Mom's like, do you have a Cab Sav? And like, that's kind of like Bond Brothers, And then it's like, well, we can get a pizza here, and I'm going to have my pizza and my IPA, and I'm beer dad, and you see it,
I could see that. Just a bunch of like super Cary, super dads.
Yeah. Like, and they're all cool people, they do their thing. And the one, and I'm probably going to be that guy in 10 years, I
don't think so.
It's possible. The one interesting thing about Bond Brothers, the most interesting thing that's ever happened to me at Bond Brothers, I saw a golden retriever bite another dog.
What?
And I have never seen a golden retriever bite anything in my entire life.
Yeah.
And this other dog was just walking by him, and this golden retriever launched out and bit the other dog's leg.
Oh, wow.
And
that's very surprising.
It is
uncharacteristic of a golden.
Right. And if you don't know, like, breweries in Raleigh and North Carolina, or in Cary in North Carolina or Raleigh, very, very well known for being dog friendly. Like, you can bring your dog to pretty much any of them.
Yeah. If you don't allow dogs, you're going to go out of business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy.
Even little indoor places are just like, yeah, bring your dog, whatever. But yeah, this place is always swamped with dogs. And there's always like a little tussle here and there, but it's always like a Pomeranian and a Shih Tzu went after each other. But like,
well, those two dogs suck. So
right. And then I saw a golden retriever go after like a black lab, and it's just like, what is weird. This all about?
Yeah. When we take my dog spots, it's like he's not there. People just don't even know that he's there.
Yeah.
He goes under the table and he chills, and he just hops under the table and vibes.
See, I have pit bulls, so like people are like, oh my God, is this okay?
I think he's going to bite my face off from 100 yards away.
And my dogs are literally furniture. Like literally furniture. Like, you bring him there and it's like, I could bring an Ottoman and I could bring my pit bull, and the Ottoman would actually probably cause more of a problem because it would be in people's ways and couldn't move quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas my pit bull, people would walk by and he would go under my chair,
Yeah. Yeah. No, Steve is the same way. He just likes to get under the table and vibe.
Yeah.
And he just chills.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the people who bring their dogs to breweries, even though I like seeing dogs at breweries, these are the same dum-dums that just, I was going to say bring their kids to breweries, but but I mean, so I would always prefer dogs over kids, but
yeah,
like
I agree with that. As someone with a kid, I agree with that. As someone who brings a kid to breweries, I agree with that.
Yeah, but the only thing worse than a dog that's behaving poorly at a brewery is their idiot owner.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, and there's just so many dumbasses taking their dumb dogs out. And like, just, I don't know.
There's a lady who I hang out at Pharmacy a lot. That's our like preferred bottle shop. And they're in downtown Cary, right next door not next door, but a little bit down the street from Bond Brothers.
Yeah.
But there's a lady who has I want to say it's like a Whippet something or other, just this little kind of raspy, ratty dog.
Yeah.
And it will go after everybody that walks by. And like,
yeah, I'm not about that.
Yeah, most places are pretty cool. They're like, hey, listen, don't bring your dog here if it's going to go after people. But she'll like bring it outside, bring it back inside, back and forth, back and forth. And so it seems like she's kind of trying to do something, but the dog is still just like snapping at everybody's ankle. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Word. Yeah. But yeah. No, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about this beer. I'm just like not that into it.
Yeah, it's got a Crystal Light vibe. It's okay.
It does. It's very like Crystal Light colored.
I feel like I would be well hydrated after a couple of these.
Sure. I don't know. Like, there's some left in the can, and I'm just like, I'm sure you want me to drink this because you probably don't. Do you want some?
No, you can finish.
All
it.
right,
I have another.
all right.
I have another one.
All right, I guess I'll finish it. I guess I'm about to find out if
Any
all
more
of the
glitter?
glitter was in the bottom.
I don't see anything. I don't see any glitter.
This is so disappointing.
It's a little, yeah. This cranberry cheer had no sorcery.
This cranberry sorcery had no cheer.
Yeah, that's what it is. And they literally say on their Instagram post, they dubbed this beer Curfew Special Number 2. They've done a couple of like special brews. Once we went under curfew here. And this one, I guess, was their second one. And they called it a cranberry sour with edible glitter to help spread the holiday cheer. And no edible glitter, no holiday cheer.
No sour.
Yeah. So I guess maybe let's go ahead and move on and talk about aliens invading the Earth.
Aliens. Yeah. All right. I'm into it. So, all right. So, Jake, well, we're talking about aliens.
We absolutely are talking about aliens. Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you were going to invade the Earth, or at least spy on the Earth,
Okay.
or even invade an anthill or spy on an anthill, what
Okay.
would you do to do that?
Well, I feel like I would spy on an anthill and spy on the Earth in
Slightly different ways?
slightly different ways.
All right, let's stick with the Earth then. So
Okay.
what would the process be? If you were an alien species and you just kind of like realize there's humans here doing a thing.
Okay. Do I know stuff about like all right.
No.
Let's flip it up some. I am like the captain of a super advanced spaceship thing, and I'm
Sure.
going to another planet. And what do I know? Do I
You're
know
on your
that
way.
there's stuff down there, or stuff down there?
You've heard some radio transmissions that sound kind of like Charlie Chaplin stuff from the 20s.
Okay. And so
That's
I just
reached
want to
you.
like do recon.
Sure, yeah. What are you going to do?
I don't know. So I feel like I would want to do one of those like Marvin the Martian gigantic telescopes with like the 9 turns in it kind of
Yeah,
situation,
okay.
and just like go hang out on the moon and be like,
Have a look.
what can I see?
Yeah.
Or I would just fly that bitch straight down and be like, who down here?
Like Mars Attacks style.
Who that? Who there?
Just stroll right in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a certain Jack Nicholson playing 9 different roles.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you're of a certain level of alien species, I mean, I guess you can walk in
Yeah.
with your swagger as high as you can, depending
Yeah.
on how big your guns are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we have NASA super soldier laser guns, then
That
I
is a
mean,
possibility.
I just go down there and start, laser beaming them.
What if
Or
you have a
whatever.
fear that the entire Earth is populated by people with NASA super soldier laser guns?
Then I don't know. I guess I'm fucked.
Take it a little slower.
Yeah.
Have a look-see,
Yeah.
Have a peek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
that being said, what do you know about the Black Knight satellite?
Aliens are
just using
orbiting
contextual
the
cues?
Earth.
Are you just using contextual cues to put this together?
Well, I know an extremely limited amount about this. And the most that I know about it is that our one and only, well, at the time we're recording this,
Yeah.
one and only awesomest patron reached out to me and said we needed to talk about this. And I had no clue what she was talking about. So I reached out to Jake and I was like, Jake, do you know about this shit? And he was like, sure do. And I was like, great. We need to write an episode about it right now.
Yeah. So John reached out to me and said, what do you know about the Black Knight? And I said, I know the general characteristics of it, which at the time was basically like people think this is like this really old alien satellite that's orbiting the Earth.
Okay.
The basics of what I knew, I thought it was millions of years old at
Yeah.
the time. It turns out it's not millions
It
of
can't
years
be.
old.
It can only be 6,000 years old because that's when Jesus and the dinosaurs invented
Good
the Earth.
point. Solid point.
Oh, we have to say thank you to our patron. Should we say thank you for our patron?
Thank you for the idea and thank you for the patronage.
Yes.
We
so
appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Alyssa, our one and only patron,
Yeah.
for giving us the idea for this show. So this one's just for you. We're talking about Black Knight today,
I wish we
which
had one
I
of the-
still don't know shit about. So
we'll get into it. You'll know a lot about it in a few minutes.
all right, cool.
I wish we had one of those air horns like do do do. Yeah.
Yeah, I used
So-
to have an app on my phone where it had all these sound effects on it, and I could just pull it up and like go as I was like pushing it on my phone. It was awesome.
And everyone hated you for it.
Well, when and when I upgrade, because I used to like keep it on me all the time, and I would like walk into the bar and I'd be like, "What's
was
up,
like
you
your
guys? I'm
shortcut.
here." And like a buddy of mine would do the
People
same
love that.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
people hated it, but I thought it
That's
was
like one of
hilarious.
people's favorite things.
I know. Well, I upgraded my phone at some point and lost that app, and then I couldn't
As one
download it
does.
again.
Yeah,
So, but yeah. All right. So
that being said,
all right. So what is the shit? So it's a satellite.
so it's been orbiting the Earth for around 13,000 years. That's the thought.
Okay. So then Jesus and the dinosaurs didn't invent the Earth 6,000 years ago.
Doesn't seem like it. From our basic knowledge points that we have to begin with, that does not seem like the case.
Okay. I'm already skeptical.
Yeah, although we do have some amazing paintings of Jesus riding dinosaurs, which are pretty great. You can look those up on Google.
Yeah.
So this extraterrestrial satellite that's been orbiting Earth has been spotted by a ton of people over the past 100 years, even going back to like Dark Ages paintings, Renaissance paintings. There's people who have painted the shape and painted the idea of it and stuff. So we have these kind of like ephemeral thoughts of it going back thousands of years.
Okay.
But we have some very, very grounded and kind of legitimate sightings of this, starting in the late 1800s and going through. So the first real, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, official sighting from a military and government source was in 1954 by a guy named Dr. Lincoln Lopez. He said that he spotted two different satellites orbiting the Earth, which in 1954 was a big freaking deal because that's still like 3 or 4 years before Sputnik.
Okay.
So there was nothing that was supposed to be up in the sky
Okay.
orbiting around, not debris, not anything.
Okay.
And the reason it freaked out enough people and really put the Pentagon into a complete panic spin was because at the time everybody was developing satellites.
Okay.
And we being people from the United States, were really worried that Russia maybe beat us to the punch and had a super secret satellite program going on.
Got it.
So we, Dr. Lincoln Lopez freaked everybody out, got everybody out there. They started searching and looking. But, you know, it backs up who is Lopez, like what's his background. So this guy went to Wichita State, then Harvard. And during World War II, he became an operational analyst for the Army. He founded the Institute of Meteorites, and then he went on to run the mathematics and astronomy departments at the University of New Mexico. So fairly legitimate dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's done some space shit.
Yeah, he's done some spacey stuff. So, But before he documented these particular satellites, the one Black Knight, and then the other one that just kind of vanished off the face of the Earth. No pun
You mean
intended.
went home?
What?
It went home.
Yeah, exactly. They returned. Before he documented all these, so he had in his personal life 2 UFO sightings of his own, leading up to all this stuff that he was very open and honest about.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so the first one happened 2 days after the Roswell crash on July 10th. That was on July 8th. He saw a UFO on July 10th, pretty close to Roswell. He was like 40 miles from where Roswell happened. And he was pretty open about it. At the time, he worked for the military, filed a report, did all that stuff. And then a few years later, he had a really well-known and documented sighting of what the Air Force went on to call the green fireballs, which was kind of a big deal. Air Force wrote a lot about it. Basically, a bunch of people, like 100 or so people, saw these gigantic floaty green swamp balls shooting across the sky.
Swamp balls.
Yeah, swamp balls. And they wrote a lot about it. That was it.
Okay.
And so there was nothing else that came out of it. They just saw their swamp balls, filed their reports, and went on their way.
Have you ever seen anything weird in the sky? Crazy lights or anything?
Swamp balls in particular?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever seen the swamp balls?
No. I grew up on the edge of the swamp, so I've had swamp balls, but I haven't seen anything like that up in the sky.
Yeah, me either.
Have I seen anything? I have seen a couple of weird light stuff that I feel like probably could have been explained by being super tired driving down the highway at 2:00 in the morning.
Eating too many apricots.
Mushroom caps while driving. Yeah.
Mushroom caps.
No, I've seen a couple, like one or two kind of weird occurrences, but nothing that really is like, I've seen a damn UFO. Like, I don't have that experience.
Yeah, I don't either. I've never seen anything in the sky flying around erratically or giant green flaming swamp balls or anything like that.
Yeah. And I'm open to it. You know, if you have big swamp balls or floating lights, I'm into it. Send it my direction. I'll have a look. You know?
Okay. What about ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual sizes?
Yeah.
I have seen opossums
of unusual size.
Yeah, that have been fairly large.
Okay.
But no specific rats or mice that are that size.
All right.
I have seen a small bear that could have been a rodent of unusual size if I wasn't wearing my glasses or something along those lines.
I've seen a bunch of bears.
Well, we are in bear country.
Yeah. I have a bear drinking game. We should play it one time.
What does that involve, a bear drinking game?
Yeah. So when I have another college story. So when I was in college, my fraternity brothers and I, every spring break, we would go up to this like campgrounds in Smoky Mountain National Park called Cades Cove.
Okay.
And
that's where you would see UFOs. Like if you were going to see them?
Oh, I probably.
That seems like the place.
I mean, it's just barely kind of south of Gatlinburg. It's just a little bit south of like Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and stuff, which is basically like the trashiest place in the mountains.
I think you mean touristy place in the mountains.
Sure.
That's where Dollywood is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Well, Dollywood rules, but these other places suck.
Dolly Parton sends my child a children's book once a month.
Does she really?
Yeah, for free. It's like
Dolly Parton is such a gem.
We need to cherish her.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
she's an American heritage. Anyway, so there's this part of Smoky Mountain National Park on the north side by Tennessee, south of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and all that shit. And it's this spot where you can drive back into the park and there's a bunch of campgrounds in there. But then there's this giant driving loop. It's like 15 miles long.
Oh, okay.
And once you're on it, you cannot get back off of it. You have to drive the whole thing because there's only one lane. It's only one way.
They have those in the Everglades too. They're freaky. Yeah.
Yeah. This portion of Smoky Mountain National Park is one of the highest densities of bear, deer, and elk in the entire.
Are these black bear or brown bear?
Black.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we have brown bears here.
We don't? Okay. I don't know the difference.
No, there's just black bears. I mean, I don't know. I'm like 99% sure they're black.
I know
bears.
there is a difference, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I'm not sure at this particular moment either, but I know black bears are pretty big.
Yeah.
And they'll tear your face off.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a bunch of shit. There's a bunch of hikes and waterfalls you can go to and all this stuff. But what you can do, and it fucking rules.
You're very excited about this.
Well, I've done it so many times and it's awesome. You get all your people together in the car and you just like what we would do is like, you know, you have like the bucket seats in the front and then like if you were in like a Subaru or some shit. And then you got the two people sitting in the back, but it's a bench seat and you just put in like a whole case or an 18 rack or something of beers, like right in the middle of all four people. And as you're driving around, if you see a deer, you have to sip. And if you see a bear, you have to shotgun the whole beer. And you just do that around the whole thing.
And I take it there's a lot of bear and deer.
So many.
Okay.
Enough to get fucked up.
Sounds dangerous.
Sounded fun to me.
Is this a common thing for people near Pigeon Forge to do?
I don't know. We made it up.
People do out there? Oh,
I don't know. We made it up. One time we were just driving around. It was, you know,
I also like how at the beginning of that, Subarus are the only cars that have bucket seats. You're like, if you have bucket seats, you're like a Subaru.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Because you could do it in a pickup truck or a Corolla or any car.
Literally any vehicle.
Or any car.
Like maybe a motorcycle if the seat's wide enough in the back.
If you have a car with a seat in the back. I don't know. I guess maybe this 4.8% sour is like getting to me a little bit.
The non-existent glitters make you giggly.
Yeah, I think the glitter's making me more drunk. This must be that white girl stuff. But yeah, no, you just drive around and when you see a deer, you sip, and when you see a bear, you shotgun. I mean, I haven't been back since they reintroduced elk, so I don't know if we should change the rules for if you see an elk, but
that could be different.
But yeah, you can see a bunch of bears and deer up there.
Huh.
You can get messed up. It's fun. It's a great time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would be into driving that loop. I don't know about shotgunning beers the whole time, but it'd be fun.
I'll do it for you.
All right. You can ride in the back.
I'll
be in the front of the Subaru and you can ride in the back.
We got to get a Subaru.
I don't even know where to get a Subaru. My neighbor has a Subaru.
The
That's the only
Subaru
person I know
dealer?
that drives a Subaru.
I don't know. But yeah, no. I'm always happy to ride around in the woods and get drunk.
Yeah. I mean, that's the place to do
Whatever. Anyway, so
all right.
back to
Black Knights.
Yeah, back to Black Knight.
Black Bears, Black Knights.
Wait, so there was a second satellite. Did they name it something or did it just disappear?
No, they didn't bring it up again. Like I kind of dug into that a little bit and I didn't see any mention of the second satellite. So I don't know if maybe he saw one and thought it was two or if there was just a second one and this was the only one that kind of like stuck.
Did he see it through like a telescope or something?
It appears that's the way he saw it. So he was working with a guy named Clyde Tombaugh, who you may know as the person who discovered Pluto, which big
cool.
Deal. Yeah. Rest in peace,
Is it
Clyde
a planet?
Tombaugh.
Is it not a planet? I don't know. Make a decision and stick to it.
Luckily, he died before the whole controversy of whether or not it was a planet happened.
That was a stupid controversy to me. Pluto's
Very
a planet.
weird.
Get over it.
Yeah, it's the part of the 9 pies, right?
9 pies.
My very extravagant mother, something 9 pies. Isn't that how you remember the planets?
I don't know.
You haven't heard this?
I don't know. I mean, I took an astronomy class in high school. I took inner solar system in college, and I took deep space in college and a little bit of physics. And there's like NC State has an observatory. It's like right up the street. We could like break into it.
Yeah, we walked right past it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not break into it.
Well, there's nothing to break into.
Right.
It's just a field with a giant concrete pad in the middle of it. And then on that pad is a bunch
people
of
come out. Oh,
it's a bunch of Galileo mounts.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which those are pretty cool. Do you know what those are? Galileo mounts? Okay, yeah, they're cool. So for people who don't know what a Galileo mount is, it's a big piece of steel pipe that comes up out of the ground, and then it has a 45-degree plate welded onto it, and that plate points directly north so that when you put a Galileo on it, you can put this little plate underneath of the Galileo that's like a little battery. It's like a motor.
Yeah.
And when you put the Galileo on it, you can aim the telescope at something and then turn the motor on, and it will rotate in the same orientation that the Earth is rotating so that you can track something through the night sky without ever having to move the telescope again. It just slowly rotates. Yeah, it's cool as shit.
They had one at the college I went to, but it was for like large telescopes. And it was cool because when you would hang out in there, it would be like slowly turning. You know, it was like almost imperceptible, but it was very cool. Yeah,
this is for like the 12-inch ones or something, like the little guys.
Yeah. This thing was like the size of this room. It was huge.
Oh, fuck, that is huge.
Yeah, it was like a 26-inch or something, something massive.
Okay.
So it's my very extravagant mother just served us 9 pies. And
I was about to say, what's extravagant? The Earth. We're sitting on it now.
So Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto.
Okay, there's another one now. They think they've discovered another
Nibiru. Is it Nibiru?
Is that
Planet
what it's called?
X? I don't know.
Well, I read an article recently that they think that they've discovered another terrestrial body that's orbiting, but it has like some extremely long orbit. And we should do a whole show on this. There's this idea of Planet X or Nibiru, which is this like planet that has an extremely wide orbit, and they think that it's been here for millions of years, and it's a little further out than Pluto, and it comes in and swings in and actually comes between like Earth and Venus or something. Yeah, like once every 10,000 years or some shit.
Maybe even longer, yeah. And so like, and if you watch the movie I would recommend to you, which I did recommend to you a couple weeks ago, Melancholia on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I never did go back and look at it.
So it's
Oops.
that movie. Maybe watch a recommendation I give you once in a while.
Sorry. I've been watching Cobra Kai.
So in this movie, a planet comes out of nowhere and strikes the Earth and like ends the planet, you know. And
Right, I'm going on my Netflix right now.
All right.
I have no idea how to spell this word though.
Melancholia, like the Smashing Pumpkins album. Melancholia and the Infinite Sadness. So, all right. So we got off track a little bit.
I don't
as
know
you
how
search
to
for that,
spell.
I'll bring us
All right,
back.
I can't find it.
I'll bring us back.
All right.
I'll send you a link.
Okay.
So,
I can't spell. I don't know if you know that.
So he had his 2 UFO sightings, Roswell and then the Green Fireball thing. And then later in 1954, a story broke in the press that La Paz, the guy we were talking about, and Clyde Tombaugh, the Pluto dude, were working on behalf of the Army. They'd found these 2 natural satellites. One was 400 miles up and one was 600 miles up, that they seemed like they had been coming into orbit recently. Later, when pressed by some media, they claimed that they had never said that and they didn't see anything. Clyde Tombaugh, again, the Pluto guy, was assigned by the military right after this. Like, this is an official thing. You pull up his paperwork. He was assigned by the military to directly find the Black Knight satellite and any other quote unquote non-human orbiting satellites. Years later, in an interview, he said he never found anything and it was a waste of time.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's, it's either you believe these things or you don't believe these things.
It's definitely there.
Right. Yeah. So that was kind of the official military sightings where, like, these guys who are actually doing this stuff. Other sightings that have happened throughout, time frames.
Of the Black Knight or just in general?
This is just specifically the Black Knight.
Okay.
So going back to 1927, which, 30, 40 years before there were any sort of satellites up in the sky, there was a Norwegian scientist named Jørgen Hals who was putting on his big 1927 headphones and listening to these transmissions coming from the sky. And he found these long-form echoes buried within the normal transmissions.
Oh, wow. That's nuts.
So a long-form echo is something is like 30, 50, 100 years out, and then it's reverberating back. So it's basically this way where he heard these things and thought that they might have been exiting the Earth, but then realized they might be returning also. So he was wondering if it was a natural phenomenon versus if these transmissions are going out and then being echoed back by something that is there. Because at the time, there was no thought of there's just something up there traveling, and the moon wasn't reflecting these things. So it was a curiosity. He really didn't know. He recorded all these things, and he actually made a bunch of recordings of what the sounds were.
Okay. I wonder if he has a sick mixtape.
Probably. So he put these things on not vinyl, but the
His
cylinders.
SoundCloud? Oh, okay.
Yeah, his SoundCloud cylinder, the wax cylinders. So he had a bunch of these things. So anyways,
that's really cool.
We're gonna come back to that. So remember this guy.
Okay.
So in 1957,
this is Jørgen.
Yeah, Jørgen Hals.
Oh, I cannot do that with my tongue, but all right.
Jørgen. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So anyways, from Norway, Jørgen from Norway. Later in 1957, Dr. Luis Corrales of the Communications Ministry in Venezuela actually took a photograph of the Black Knight while trying to take pictures of Sputnik 2 as it passed over Caracas.
Oh, nice.
So he was trying to get, because in 1957, Sputnik was up and he knew it was there. And so he knew this Sputnik was supposed to be coming through. And so he wanted to get pictures of it up against the moon because it would be this cool thing. Venezuela, communist country, Russia, they're all together doing this stuff. So he wanted to make this cool propaganda thing.
Okay.
Or just media thing.
Okay.
And so he went to take the photo and he took a bunch of them. And when he
lo and
was
behold, Black Knight.
when he was like, hey, here's what I've got, people were like, Sputnik was on the other side of the planet when you took all those. So.
Oh, what? The big squeeze me?
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, oh, I have these things.
How did this dude mess up that bad? If he thought Sputnik was coming across.
Yeah, I mean, he
just took
probably
pictures
he
of
had
some
timing up and had it wrong or something. I mean, it's
Okay.
1957. You can't get an email of when something's going to happen.
Come on, man. All
They're
right.
just like, hey, this is going to come over in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Take a picture of it.
Super loose.
Right. Yeah. It's like in during the Wild West, like nobody had clocks, so they don't know what time it was. That's why they all met at high noon, because you would look up and that's when the sun was up there.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
I didn't know
like,
that. I never thought that deep into it.
We'll talk a lot more about that one day. I actually have a lot of theories about like how people experienced time back then.
I can tell you how we experience it now, and it's fucked up.
Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, we'll get back to it. So on February 11th, 1960, a radar used by the Navy detected a quote unquote dark tumbling object that was not identifiable as belonging to the US or Russia at the time, which were the only kind of superpowers on the planet that had space satellites up in the sky. The US had this, again, major freak out that this was probably some sort of uncatalogued Russian spy satellite. And they panicked and started trying to figure out what it was. And then the US government and Time magazine got together to announce that it was just space debris and the case was closed.
No, it's not.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
These are not the droids. This is not the space debris you're looking for.
Right. And I like how they went with like Time magazine. They're like, who are we going to talk to?
Well, this was what, the 50s?
1960.
Well, the 60s. They needed somebody reputable.
They knew the guy who did the Saturday Evening Post pictures, the paintings. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he did all the big famous
I have
things.
no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, everybody would know.
That's too old people stuff for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's
No, I don't
Right in my
know.
alley, though.
Yeah, no. I would assume in the 60s, Time magazine would have been way more credible than it is now.
Well, yeah, that's the big deal. Is it was this huge credible platform, you know?
Well, it's the authority on American propaganda at the time, basically.
Norman Rockwell. That's who it was.
No, okay.
Yeah.
See, I'd have known if you'd said his name, but
yeah, I mean they were kind of like the known factor at the time. You know, if you got something, you know, like in the 80s, like Reader's Digest comes to your house, it's like a thing.
Yeah, or
you know,
Rolling Stone.
or Rolling Stone. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's where you got your opinions on music from, you know.
Yeah. This would be like the definitive in American propaganda opinions, except in the 60s, because I'm sure people were like, if it's in Time, it's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, because like you look at the back then, New York Times, Washington Post. I mean, it was the heyday of those things, you know. So
Yeah, for sure.
there wasn't a lot to like create confusion or distrust in them, you know. So, anyways, the U.S. was panicked about these uncatalogued Russian spy satellites, and they kind of went to Time magazine and said, you know, tell everybody it's just space debris, and that's what happened, and that was it. And then a year later, in 1961. There's a French scientist named Jacques Vallée, and he announced that he saw and this is air quotes again, an extremely reflective, unidentified object traveling in retrograde, which retrograde is a very big deal because retrograde orbiting was completely impossible in 1961 because it is going the opposite direction of the Earth's rotation. So until 1961, all the satellites we had traveled with the rotation of the planet. So they were just kind of like booking along.
They were geosynchronous.
Well, they're rolling with it. They were just doing their thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how, I guess, advanced their technology was or whatever, because
Yeah.
there's 3 different kinds of orbits, essentially, you can take around the Earth.
Right.
Geosynchronous, which is where the thing that's above the ground stays at the exact same point above the ground.
Okay.
It would be like if there was a satellite directly above Panama City, which
Right.
is almost exactly on the equator
Taking photos
or some shit.
Doing
Yeah.
their thing. Yeah.
And it just stayed there
Right.
all year round, forever and ever. The satellite is directly above Panama City. That would be geosynchronous. As the
And
Earth
it would
turns,
need some sort of power to remain there.
Yeah. Yes and no, because what they can do is calculations to where the satellite is falling at the same
so it would have
speed
to-
that the
yeah.
Earth is rotating.
They just have to find the money spot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So then, and they would have to make adjustments or whatever. But as the Earth is rotating, the satellite is falling at the same speed that gravity,
Right.
that centrifugal force is basically
Yeah.
pushing it back out.
So it takes math.
Yeah, so it basically just stays in the exact same place and rotates around the Earth directly above wherever it is. And then there's, normal orbit where it's orbiting faster than the Earth is. And so
Right.
those are the ones where when you're like out looking at the night sky and you see them go across,
Yeah.
they're going
Yep.
faster or whatever. And then retrograde.
And that's kind of
they're
falling
going the
to Earth
opposite.
constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. They're falling to Earth faster,
Yeah.
but not really, or else they'd come down. But
Right.
yeah, they're moving fast enough that they can stay within the gravity grasp of the Earth, but not fast enough that
Okay.
would get thrown out.
Yeah.
So
So
then retrograde, same deal, but opposite direction of the Earth's rotation.
right. And it takes a lot of power to maintain retrograde because you're kind of like going opposite the pole. From what I
Right.
understand from reading it, you have to have a power source to maintain a bit of thrust.
Okay, you have
To
to have
keep
like a
you going-
constant velocity.
Right, to keep you going against the grain.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
interesting.
That's why back in 1961, it was a big deal that somebody spotted something going in a retrograde orbit.
Okay. So
Because
whatever
it was-
this thing was had a power source.
Right, because
Or it
in
would need to.
1961, our satellites and any satellite that was up there didn't have that ability.
Yeah.
Valet wrote up this big report about it and, wrote about what it takes to have retrograde and the tech you need. And then he took it to his superiors and essentially they said, we're not going to deal with this. And he claims they confiscated the tapes, destroyed all the evidence, and told him to go back to doing his job.
Got it.
And that was kind of where that storyline ends. And then later, the Mercury 7 astronaut, Gordon Cooper, was up in orbit and he spotted directly out of the window the Black Knight satellite, literally directly that, orbiting alongside them. And the thing that stands out about not only is this like an astronaut who, pretty reliable, not only is it the astronaut spotting this, at the time that it was being broadcast in the 80s, there was over 100 people viewing the live feed while it was happening in Australia. And all of those people came forward and said that they saw the exact same thing.
Oh, dang. So
this
what you're
was in
saying
the
is the
80s.
aliens were trying to pull up and hollow.
Right. So these, all these people came up and said that they saw this. And then later, Cooper came back after he got back to Earth and he was here for a week or so. He said, no, he didn't actually see anything and he thinks it was a mistake. And then the 100 people in Australia were like, no, we actually saw this.
Yeah.
But it was in the 80s, so there's no screen caps or anything. They were literally watching like monitor feeds in a building,
Yeah.
Moving forward into like 1998, the crew of the Space Shuttle Endeavour photographed the Black Knight. But at the time, NASA said it was just a space blanket.
What is a space blanket?
Like those aluminum foil blankets you wrap around yourself
Oh,
for like when you get your car caught in a ice drift.
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so they said it's one of those. But at the time, there was no evidence of any of them being lost in orbit. So there's no idea that particular debris existed. So then in 2015, there were two direct sightings, one of the satellite passing directly in front of the moon, and then another, the satellite was actually photographed by NASA maintaining a direct orbit above Florida. So it was actually expelling energy to maintain direction. And most recently, this is actually going back right before Thanksgiving, November 7th, 2020, the Black Knight was spotted and photographed, and it's up on YouTube, and we'll go ahead and post this to our social when this episode's live. The Black Knight was spotted orbiting directly above the Philippines. Like there's images of it above the sky there. And that's weeks ago, November 7th, 2020.
Nice.
So during all of this, NASA has maintained a very much stance that this is just space debris. It's
Space debris that moves around and goes forwards and goes backwards and
Right.
hovers over Florida,
Retrograde.
and hovers over.
spies on Florida
Philippines.
man,
He's trying to find the skunk ape.
Yeah, exactly.
They're there. We
digging
know it.
there. He's got to find them. There's a lot of different people talking about it's here and there, so there's some big names like the guy who discovered Pluto, and then there's some of these people that are like the head of communications of Venezuela, etc. So, but then Have you ever heard of a guy who's done a little bit of science called Nikola Tesla?
A little bit.
Familiar with him? He did a couple things.
He's a dude. He's got hair, right? He's got the crazy
Yeah,
hair.
I think he made like a electric car or something like that.
Yeah.
So in 1899, Tesla published an article called, quote unquote, Talking with the Planets, where he claims to have intercepted signals. And he says, and this is a direct quote from the article, while experimenting in Colorado, I obtained extraordinary experimental evidence of the existence of life on Mars. I had perfected a wireless receiver of extraordinary sensitiveness far beyond anything known, and I caught signals which I interpreted as meaning 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe the Martians use numbers for communication because numbers are universal. He straight up said that, and it's kind of kooky. And a bunch of people got together and they were thinking, looking back at the time frame. So modern astronomers and modern scientists looked at going back to 1899 and where the stars were and what all that was. They looked at stuff and thought that the signal probably wasn't coming from Mars because of where the planets were when he made that announcement and when he would have made his calculations. But when they look back at his geolocation, they think that it probably came from the Black Knight satellite. Not that they knew where the Black Knight satellite was in 1899, but they knew where Mars was, and they think
It wasn't above Colorado.
right, exactly. At least not directly above Fort Collins. So
Okay, yeah.
a lot of people have put together that there's a satellite up there. It's orbiting us, doing something, looking at Florida Man, checking out skunk apes. Why don't you give a guess? Where do you think the satellite could have originated from?
Oh, I already know.
Oh, you know?
Yes.
Where?
I absolutely 100% know.
Okay, let's hear it.
It came from Elon Musk's time machine, and really
Okay.
it's the SpaceX satellite from the future.
Is this the same one he fired up with like the astronaut sitting in the driver's seat?
No. Elon Musk hasn't invented his time machine yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is in the future.
Fair. Okay. I'm into this. I'm into this idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's just like flying it around, checking on stuff.
So you think it may be human based?
Elon Musk's 400-year-old body is up there flying it around.
That'd be cool.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
It's very possible.
I think that's definitely it.
So
I want that to be. I want it to be true so bad. I want it.
So I'll get back to my theories, and I like the idea of human based. Like that's a cool idea. There's a very solid guess that the satellite actually came from Epsilon Bootis. And what do you know about Epsilon Bootis?
Nothing. I don't know what that even means. Is that English?
It's Latin. It's a name of a star, a dual star system up in the sky. It's actually one of the first spotted star systems in the sky. It's a dual star system, and it's known as extremely ancient.
So what you're saying is this is where the predator lives currently.
It's possible. So Epsilon Bootis, let's dig into this a little bit. In 1973, a Scottish astronomer and author, Duncan Lunan, wrote that he had, quote unquote, identified and deciphered a hidden radio message in outer space radio missions that predated human existence. He mapped the signals that were heard in the 1920s by Jürgen Hals that we talked about earlier, and he found that they pointed directly at Epsilon Bootis. They supposedly found the signals again that were coming in. So he said that he discovered these, mapped it, figured out where they're coming from, and then captured the signals again, which were still coming, and actually decoded what they were saying. And he's got a paragraph of what these were saying.
Oh, sick.
So
it's not YOLO 2020.
It says, drink your Ovaltine. No. So,
oh my God, that'd be awesome.
So it says, and here's exactly what he claims that it says. Start here. Our home is Epsilon Bootis, which is a double star. We live on the sixth planet of 7 coming from the sun, which is the larger of the two. Our sixth planet has 1 moon. Our fourth planet has 3. Our first and third planets each have 1. Our probe is in the position of Arcturus known in our maps. And so that's the whole quote. And so if you look at what the position of Arcturus means, if you go back and you look kind of like from a first person perspective from Buddhists, the position of Arcturus would essentially be Earth. So it's saying that their probe is on our planet.
Okay.
Which is freaky.
Okay.
Yeah. This author, Duncan Lunan, who uncovered all this, the downside is he's actually a science fiction author who has written a whole slew of sci-fi books. And he is also a leading proponent of a theory that the quote-unquote green children of Woolpit were mistakenly transported to Earth due to a malfunction in a matter transmitter. And the green children of Woolpit is one of the oldest conspiracy theories that dates back to the 12th century that talks about these two random green kids that dug themselves out of a pit and walked into a city and then learned how to speak English and said they came from a faraway fairy planet. So this guy has extreme enough opinions about these green fairy kids to think about where they originated from to have that whole argument. The fact that he has such a strong opinion on the origin of these kids shows how deeply involved he is in this like conspiracy culture in general. So maybe his ideas about what he deciphered as being the message from Buddhists, maybe not the best to listen to as a fact.
Or it's 100% true.
Or it's possible. Or maybe these green kids came from a mistaken matter transmit and he's right about both of these things.
I think it's the more believable option.
Well, I mean, we weren't there in 1100 AD.
You can't know.
You don't know.
Time traveling Jesus knows.
Kids can be green for many reasons. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, if kids can turn orange from eating carrots, they can turn green from falling from a malfunction matter transmitter.
It's possible.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe
it was arsenic poisoning.
Does that turn you green?
I think it does, yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I think it's a thing that happens.
Oh, wow. That's much more likely.
Yeah. And I think it messes with your brain too. So like these kids probably had arsenic poison, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know
how you get arsenic poison in 1100 Britain either. So, but anyways.
I don't know.
So the real question is, how long has the Black Knight satellite actually been there? Let's make some assumptions of, maybe this dude's right. Maybe there is a satellite up there. NASA's taken a bunch of there's official, you can Google Black Knight satellite and you're going to find NASA photos of this thing.
Okay. So they stopped trying to hide it.
Well, they're just saying it's space debris, but they have these photos up there,
Okay.
They're not hiding anything. So it's all there. And then there's all these other people, the guy who discovered Pluto said he saw it and he was put in charge of a task force to find more things like the Black Knight satellite. And as we got more advanced, they were seen less and less. And so does us getting more advanced, seeing them less mean that they're not there? Or does it mean they realized we have better abilities and they pulled back? Lots of questions there.
Yeah.
So how long has it possibly been there? When we first started talking about this, I was saying, I thought I had heard that it was like millions of years old. And I looked up and there was a couple things that were saying here and there, these little articles saying it was millions of years old based on transmissions of how long it takes to get from different places and ways that, light transmits and matter transmits and how things travel across the solar system. What we know is there are some drawings and paintings of the Black Knight satellite going back to the Dark Ages, 1200, 1300 AD. And similar satellites can be spotted in these different carvings from that time. And I slotted aside a bunch of them. I'll post to social after we launch this episode of these different pictures because they're kind of interesting. But the number that comes up over and over again, if you start doing research on this, is 13,000 years. Why 13,000 years? What are they thinking? People think that's kind of how long it would take to get a message from Buddhists, essentially. It was 13,000 years. So maybe that connects it, maybe it doesn't. Maybe the guy with the green kids from the pit isn't the way to connect the time frame from all this. Yeah, so people can say 13,000 years, and the thought is it comes from Buddhists, but who knows at the end of the day. But I have my own favorite theory on this and what the possibility is. And I saw it brought up a couple of times in a couple different YouTube videos and a couple different articles. One of the things I heard was that the Black Knight satellite could possibly be a satellite of human origin that was launched in the ancient times. Something that's been up there for 13,000 years, but launched by humans who were around 13,000 years ago. And this gets into a particular topic of mine that I really like discussing, which is kind of ancient human civilizations. Really brought up by a favorite author of mine named Graham Hancock, who wrote Fingerprints of the Gods, Magicians of the Gods, and America Before. He's a journalist who has done a lot of different research with a bunch of different scientists, and he basically puts forth some fairly solid evidence and ideas that there was an ancient advanced civilization that was wiped out by a major meteor strike in the northern United States 12,000-ish years ago. The idea is basically that this hodgepodge of historical references that show the same sort of gods traveling around the world, teaching humans how to go from hunters to builders 12 to 15,000 years ago, were this ancient, seafaring, very advanced civilization that did a lot of different things. And he puts forth a lot of evidence in cave drawings, temple carvings, ancient tales, and all of these old stories of kind of ancient gods who bring knowledge to people. And so hold tight on this. We're going to do a whole episode on this, and I've got hundreds of pages of notes on this stuff. So I'm a big fan of this guy. So I've written a lot about it. The theory is that maybe these guys 13,000 years ago launched this sort of ancient advanced satellite as a way to try to communicate with the future. So maybe it wasn't spying technology. Maybe they just figured out a way to launch something up there.
Like a time capsule.
Exactly. But put it in space where, if a civilization is advanced enough to start looking and doing things like building pyramids, they realize that time eventually kills everything. So the one way to actually preserve stuff would be to put it up into outer space where it can be just preserved in the frozen abyss of outer space. And so maybe they figured out how to get something into low geosynchronous orbit and keep it there.
Or they shot it up there and put it on autopilot.
Very possibly. I mean, and then maybe all these things of like, oh, it's retrograde, oh, it's this, is just mistakes people have made throughout the time. If that's the case, then we have to look at things like NASA have been looking at this, the Russians were looking at this. So if there was this giant kind of block satellite that's been traveling up there, one of two things happened. Either one, they captured this and had a good look at it and were like, F this, what this says is nothing we want anything to do with, and just ignored it.
Yeah.
Or they grabbed it and it was even worse than that, and they didn't like what it said and just walked away from it.
Or they grabbed it and we have computers now because of it. I mean,
it's possible.
Who knows? Because they could have grabbed it and it said something bad. They could have grabbed it and it said something good, and they have been denying it this whole time because really they're up there studying it on the moon base. Or, they keep just kind of pulling it around different places so people have a hard time finding it because really they're up there studying it.
Well, and if we do go down that path, who knows what it says? The Earth has been through a lot of problems in 13,000 years, major flooding, glaciers, meteor strikes, all these things. So who knows? Who knows what it could share? What kind of knowledge? The human race isn't very good at passing knowledge down.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite theories that I think I want us to talk about at some point is, I don't want to go too deep into it, but basically the gist of it is that Jesus was actually a time traveler from the future, and he came back to and all the scriptures and Bible and everything is really an instruction manual from the future on how to avoid the apocalypse, except they had to write it in a way where it was cryptic, and they didn't actually come out and say, in this year and this time, we're going to die like this. It's more of an instruction manual, and the Black Knight satellite is the time machine that they used to travel back in time. And
Possible.
yeah.
I like that idea.
And who knows? I mean, because like, we don't know what the spaceship material is like in the future. Maybe we think it's 13,000 years old, but really it's only 2020, 2050 years old.
Right. Or
Jesus was like 30 when he died or something like that.
33,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So whatever that is.
Yeah.
I can't do math in my head, but 2021 plus 33.
Yeah.
What's that?
A couple of years.
Yeah. They just like
11.
Oh, they put a
12,
baby on the
12
time
years.
machine. And then
Like
he went back.
Kal-El, like a Superman thing.
Yeah. No, I don't know. That wouldn't work because how'd the baby know what to tell him? That doesn't make sense. I just put a hole in my own theory. It's 400-year-old Elon Musk.
No, he had the crystals. Like he had the crystals.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He has a fortress of This is the fortress of
The
solitude.
pyramids
except
of the
it's
fortress of solitude.
Elon Musk's. Oh shit. That's it.
The subchambers have the
That's
crystals.
one.
Tutankhamun was actually Jesus's time traveling dad.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Or I don't know. I still think it was Elon Musk. Okay.
Future
Jesus
Elon
was actually time traveling Elon Musk. And the only reason that there's the dinosaurs is because Elon Musk thought it would be cool to take a pit stop and go grab a raptor or two and bring him with him.
And his kid's name is the code to unlock the Black Knight satellite and open it up and get all the facts.
Yes. That's the code to the blast door.
Yep.
It's Kyle.
Is that how they pronounce that name?
I think so. I'm pretty
right.
sure. It's the
Cool.
ultimate bro. And
Yeah.
at the very end, you have to slam a can of Monster into it or it won't open.
A Seagram's ice cooler.
Yeah. Or, no, a Twisted Tea.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. There's so many ways that you could go with this one. Like, what is the satellite? Why is it there? How long has it
It's
been
just
there?
endless
Where did it
more
came from?
questions.
Yeah. I mean, any
Probably
theory,
because it's nothing.
Yeah. Any theory that you could come up with would be as plausible or not as anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, I'm never going to get up there and push buttons on, Black Knight. Probably not. I mean, who knows? I might. That'd be cool, but
Yeah.
chances are low, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And when I started actually looking for a lot of the information on this, basically the stuff I brought up is stuff that all came up in like NASA and government documents and like actual, quote unquote facts around it. But when you go over to like DuckDuckGo and put in Black Knight satellite, like you get some deep tracks on people being like, listen, lizard people from Beetlejuice are definitely sitting in this thing. And like, just people just making shit up,
I didn't even think about the lizard people.
It's a
This
whole nother path.
It
speaks directly to the lizard people.
This is the space station where our collective consciousness is being held. And if we destroy it, we'll go back to the real world. We need to shoot nukes at it today.
Right now.
Yeah. Because if we destroy it, we destroy the thing holding on to our consciousness. We'll go back to the real world. It'll be like breaking the Matrix.
Is that a thing in the Matrix? Do they blow up a thing?
No.
Oh.
No. It'd be like breaking it.
Oh, okay.
If
Like
we-
Breaking Bad?
I don't know. I never finished that show.
Oh, you should. It's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine if in the Matrix they were to destroy like the head brain, everybody gets released from the Matrix, right? Except in this case, instead of only Elon Musk's 400-year-old body being released from the Matrix, all of us get released. Yeah.
I feel like that would be a hell of a boss fight, like 400-year-old Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's like the knight from the end of the Indiana Jones.
The Knight. Oh, yeah. From
The Holy Grail.
And yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones.
It is the best
Well,
one.
Sean Connery. You can't beat Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Come on.
I love that one. I definitely think that one's the best. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull's trash.
It was garbage.
That movie
Absolutely garbage.
sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
Was that Shia LaBeouf? Was he the kid?
Yeah, I didn't hate him in it, but I just hated the part where I was like, all of the other Indiana Joneses, it's like, crazy people in the middle of the woods doing stuff, tearing your heart out. The Raiders of the Lost Ark. You have
Right.
the Ark of the Covenant. It melts people's faces, and then what, Last Crusade, they're going for the Holy Grail. And then this one, it's literally Indiana Jones finds aliens. And I'm like, what the fuck, George Lucas? Why in the world did Steven Spielberg decide it was going to be a good idea to let George Lucas do this shit and destroy Indiana Jones? Like, it was just so dumb. It was so dumb. I was very angry.
The Crystal Skull thing is kind of interesting because if you kind of dig into that a little bit, one of the most interesting things about the whole Crystal Skull thing is Dan Aykroyd.
What?
Yeah. So Dan Aykroyd owns a kind of like controlling partnership in Crystal Head Vodka, which, have you seen the vodka that's a skull?
Yeah. Isn't that like Jay-Z's vodka or something?
No. That's like Crystal Head. That's Crystal Skull Vodka. So
yeah, it's like P. Diddy owns it.
No. Dan Aykroyd owns it.
Wait, what?
The skull, the Crystal Skull vodka.
Yeah. No, I know the vodka with the skull
owned by
bottle.
Dan Aykroyd. Or he has a controlling ownership in it.
Really? I thought it was like some rapper.
No, it's Dan Aykroyd.
All right.
Okay, so
I love Dan Aykroyd,
we're going to do this episode soon. We're going to do this as one of the new ones because it's amazing.
Okay.
So the gist is like these crystal skulls are this gigantic power on the planet, and they do this crazy resonance thing.
In Indiana Jones?
Yeah. Well, no, in Dan Aykroyd's reality.
Okay.
And so he has bottled it up and created vodka for you using the power of the planet. I'll explain it.
I need some now.
I will.
I've never wanted some before
episode.
Ever, but I need some now.
I
love Dan Aykroyd because, okay, remind me, Dan Aykroyd and his whole family are like super conspiracy theorists.
And super Canadian.
Oh, shit. Canadian conspiracy theorists.
Yep.
All right. I don't know what I need you people out there, listeners, to do to share the shit out of this, but I need Dan Aykroyd on this show.
I will reach out to Dan Aykroyd and his people. He did an episode of Joe Rogan where he went over like the Crystal Skull thing.
Really?
And it was amazing. It was one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I'll share that episode with you. And then I have probably 30 pages of notes I've written about Dan Aykroyd and his Crystal Skull stuff.
All right.
And we'll go into this and we'll do it in a very soon episode.
Okay.
But I think for the Black Knight satellite, I think it's going to keep orbiting, and we're going to keep doing this, and we'll meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. So when we post the episode, come out to our Instagram or come hang out with us on Discord or whatever, and let us know what you think the Black Knight satellite is up there doing. Is it alien stuff? Is it time traveling Elon Musk Jesus stuff? Is it from wherever that place is you said it's from?
Buddhist?
Upsilon Buddhist?
Epsilon Buddhist?
Yeah.
Buddhist? There's it has an umlaut over the second O. So.
Does it?
Yeah. But yeah, either way.
The umlauts don't make ooh the sound.
Oodist.
No.
No?
That's not the sound an umlaut makes.
I don't think so.
It's like trying to remember. That was like a short O or an E or something. I don't remember.
My last name's French. We don't have the umlauts. I don't know. Mine's English. Yeah. So, yeah, come out, talk to us. Especially jump into Discord. You can speak to us any time of day in there. I mean, we sleep at night, but we'll talk to you during the day.
Yeah, I'm happy to come hang out. We can have video calls or voice calls. We can hang out, play video games together. We can do whatever you guys want. We can hang out, talk about beer. We can hang out and just get drunk together. We can hang out, get drunk and talk about conspiracies together.
We should do like a live show where we play music and talk to people about stuff.
Play music like we play music on instruments, or play music like we just listen to music?
Either.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bot.
We can both do both. So
yeah. Well, there's a bot that I can build into the Discord that makes it so that people can request songs and stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So
cool.
we can set up a record player, and if we don't know how to play the song, we'll play the record. And if we do know how to play a song, we can because you can play guitar, I play bass. We can just play it.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah.
Black Knights.
Yep. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you for listening.
Jumping on your phone or laptop or wherever it is that you're listening to us ramble again, and supporting our show and listening to us, and hopefully we will catch you again next Thursday.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Brewluminati. Our intro and outro music is written by Dungeness. Want to learn more about the topics we cover and who we are? Join us on Facebook and Instagram at Brewluminati Podcast for behind-the-scenes content and updates. Do you have mystical powers of insight or just questions, suggestions, and feedback? Reach out to us at thebrewluminati@gmail.com. Are you ready to immerse yourself into the inner circle? Visit patreon.com/Brewluminati Podcast. For the same price as a cup of coffee or sandwich you won't remember, because of mind control, you can join the Brewluminati and lift the veil on the true mysteries of the universe. Your membership to the Conclave unlocks access to our secret Discord server, bonus Patreon-only content, behind-the-scenes talks, and much more. Every dollar spent not only helps us reveal the truths of the world, but also frees us to make the show better, weirder, and allows us to go deeper and deeper into the void while funding our next beer run. When we're not talking conspiracies and beer, we're passionate about saving the forgotten puppies and kitties of the world. 10% of every dollar you donate goes directly to the Best Friend Pet Adoption Agency. They are a local 501c3 all-breed, all-foster cat and dog rescue that will save the life of a pet who never had a chance. Keep an eye out because we'll be posting pictures of the lives our listeners save. For more information on Best Friend Pet Adoption, head over to bfpa.org. Join us again next week for another episode of Brewluminati. We know you will, because again, mind control is real.